All right, guys, here we go. So I wanted to make a video, and maybe we'll start doing this. I'll start doing this every Friday, called Fundamental Friday. So on Fundamental Friday, I'll show you something that I do that's kind of fundamental. Something that I do all the time that's fundamental to what I do as a wholesaler, and what probably I would guess that most wholesalers, at least at the beginning, will be doing for themselves, and later on they probably like delegate this off to like VAs or something like that. But you need to know how to do this if you're gonna be wholesaling. So this right here is a purchase and sale agreement. And this purchase sale agreement is not mine personally. It's mine, but like I didn't create this. I think I got this from like I think Flipman or something like that. But I just wanted to go through and show y'all kind of how I fill it out and the little stuff that I figured out doing each deal, what kind of works, what kind of doesn't work, different little situations that come up where you would fill this out a little bit different. So the first thing I have here at the top, it just says this agreement is made this, and then you put a date. So I think today's date is like the 26th of February. Spelled February wrong. Damn, thank God for computers, man. It's technologies. 2021. I'm just gonna make up some stuff. So what I'm gonna do is basically like make up this property and make up the seller name, and I'm gonna act like I'm the buyer. So the seller is gonna be John Robert, and Social Security you put in A. That they ain't gotta worry about that. The closing attorney is not gonna need this stuff. The buyer, put my name. Sometimes what I really put is my LLC name right there. You don't have to have LLC. I just happen to already have an LLC when I went to start wholesaling, because I had owned a rental property already before I started wholesaling. But so I just used that LLC. I don't know if that's even right thing to do. I got to look into that, but I use the LLC. But you can use your name. It doesn't matter. So street address 120 Bowen Street. I'm just putting in some random stuff in the area that I live in. City, Carrollton, State, Georgia, zip code 30117. County, Carroll. So, I mean, that's pretty simple. You just put in street name, city, state, zip. Make sure you get the stuff right, though. If you don't know it, you just Google it. You can click over to another tab and just Google the address and make sure you get that part. So, personal property included, you just put in property sold as is. Bam. There you go. Earnest money. A lot of people teach different thing on earnest money. I wouldn't put nothing down here on earnest money that I couldn't like put up if I needed to. So, like, say if you needed to do $10, put $10. But I always do $100. Just because I mean, if I was in a crunch, I can give up $100, and if I needed to, you know. Uh, but just to be honest with y'all, most of the time, the buyer puts up the earnest money. I don't even ever put up earnest money. The buyer put up the earnest money. But we'll kind of get a little bit to that later. So cash to sell at closing. Let's say if I was buying this for $100,000. So the cash. So if I was buying this for $100,000, that earnest money deposit is money that's already sent to the attorney. So I have to subtract that out of what the seller is going to get at closing. So if I'm buying it for $100,000, then I'm going to put $99,900. The existing loan, put NA because like the attorney's office will handle all that. New loan, NA, attorney's office handle all that. I'm not getting a new loan. The buyer's not gonna get a new loan. If some way there was a loan involved, still just send it in like this and let the attorneys know the details or whatever. If your buyer may be getting like a hard money loan or something, but usually the attorneys handle all that stuff. So the purchase price, I'll put $100,000. This is the only place you put the purchase price. So this line right here where it say purchase price is the only spot where you put the purchase price. Because the next line is going to say balance due to seller. So on the line where it says balance due to seller, you basically putting the same thing as cash to seller at closing. So it's going to be $99,900. And a lot of this stuff, man, you know, people say read through your contract, know your contract. Yeah, read through and know your contract. But really, I mean, read through and know it, but you need to just know how to fill it out, right? Main thing is know how to fill it out. Read through there, know the stuff, kind of read the words, and you don't feel comfortable with some of it, I just cut it out. I just white it out if I don't feel comfortable, or if the seller don't feel comfortable, I'll read it and like, do we really need that? If we don't, I'll just white it out and then keep the contract rolling. But anyway, so the balance due to seller in the amount of $99,900 shall be paid as follows. And I just put wire / check. So it could be a wire, could be a check. Bam, got both of them covered. And most times I put in full wire / check. So so like I said, I'm just gonna go through and talk about how to fill it out right now. Like I said, just read through here on your own and figure out kind of what this stuff is talking about. Even though I'll talk about some of it, I'm not gonna go in like super detail. Most of what I'm gonna be doing is mostly filling it out. But that third thing is just talking about prorating, like prorating the taxes, prorating the insurance, prorating the rent, and stuff, and where all that stuff is gonna go. Most time the sellers is gonna end up paying some prorated taxes or something. But anyway, so moving on. Number 4 just says that the buyer is going to pay all closing costs minus unpaid taxes, mortgages, and liens. So any seller say, "Hey, this contract says I have to pay this," just tell them, refer them to number 4 where it says buyer will pay all closing costs. So that cancel out anything about them paying closing costs. So the closing date and transfer of title. So what you want to do on this closing date, man, you want to kind of put the closing date at a good distance away from where you need it. So if a seller say, hey, you know, if a seller have a preference, like they want to close in 2 weeks, go ahead and put like the 2 week up there. Or ask them, hey, can we have a 3rd week just in case something go wrong? Because one time I put a property in the contract and the lady's like, hey, I want to close in 2 weeks. And this was a $20,000 contract. I locked it up and I put 2 weeks on it. But like the closing attorney was moving slow and everything. And they didn't get us to closing in 2 weeks. So the seller backed out and then went on and sold it to somebody else. So just make sure you give yourself plenty of time on these contracts and then let the seller know, hey, look, we're going to aim for this date, but I'm going to put this date on the contract just in case anything happens, you know. So I'm going to put on here May. No, I'll put May. Put April 26th. I don't even know what April 26th is, but April 26th, 2021. I actually have a deal right now that I hope it goes through because it's a big one. That I had to agree with the seller to close on May the 30th because his job was moving during that time. So I got to wait 3 months, but it's worth the wait. And hopefully we can go ahead and get that deal done. But you want to go ahead and knock these out as fast as possible, but you don't want to you don't want to on paper put it down because after this date the seller can back out and like there's nothing you can do about it because the agreement is over with. Right. So make sure you give yourself time. Will be held at a lot of times I'll put NA right here unless the seller press me to put something in here. I'll go ahead and put NA. Unless the seller's like, hey, I want to close here. I'll put in a, or if I just know I feel comfortable and I know it's going to close there, I'll put it in there. But putting in a just allow you the flexibility of, if I need to close over here, or if I need to close it over there, or if they couldn't do this for me, they can do that for me. You didn't agree to close with a certain person. So that allows you some flexibility there. But you need to know kind of who you're closing with. So 6, just talking about damaged property, make sure the seller don't damage property before closing, or they're going to be liable or whatever. Defaults, basically saying, hey, look, if the buyer defaults, which is you, if you default on this, then you lose your earnest money, right? And if the seller defaults, then you can like try to work the law to try to figure out what you can do to a seller that defaults. But I've had sellers who back down, and I really didn't try to go after them and nothing like that. Anyway, successor and assignees, like you can assign this, and like if somebody dies, this contract is passed down. The access and advertising, this is where some of the sellers are reluctant. Like they don't want you to be able to advertise and show their property off and stuff like that. So they'll maybe complain about this sometimes, and I just take it out. I just white it out. And if you have Google, you should have this Doc Hub that I'm on. And even if you don't have Doc Hub, it's like one of the things in Google. And I'm gonna put this contract in the description below. I'll try to put a PDF of it where you can download it, upload it to Google, and then just click on the little thing in Google where it's giving you options of opening it up, and then open it up using Doc Hub. But anyway, so a lot of people complain about access and advertising and repairs made by buyers. So if you need to, just white that out. And you can white it out by going right up here to this whiteout. Click that, and then bam, you could just white out whatever you need. I white this out. My junk moving kind of slow, but bam, white out. Then I come back here, bam, white this part out. And then I'll come here and get a text. Then I'll put the text here, and I'll just write omitted. I'll write omitted, and then bam, I'm good to go. So that's how I white out anything that's that I want to take out of the contract, or the seller's like complaining about that really don't matter. Just white it out. Anyway, so 10, liability should be limited to property itself, whatever. That's self-explanatory. Let's move on down here to like buyer would have this is one of the biggest parts. Like buyer will have blank days to inspect the inspection period. So you want to give yourself, like, let's say if you just found out about this, like you want to try to give yourself 30 days. Most sellers may not give you 30 days, but try to take 30 days if you can take 30 days. All right. But a lot of people say 15 days or 10 days is good. I always tell the sellers, hey, look, it's a lot going on during this time. We need to make sure we give ourselves enough time to, get the inspection done. We're only going to need to see the property a few times. Don't try to limit yourself, right? Unless you just know. Like right now, I know I got a buyer, and this property right here is like, I tell them, hey, I need to get in there just one time. That's it. Then they can go. But starting out, I never limited myself. It's like we need to get in there a few times, right? Or we need to get in there and see it. But I would try to put 30 days, if not 15 at least, because this is basically the time you're gonna be on a timer to finding your buyer. Because if this time expires, then and you don't find a buyer, then you just lost your earnest money deposit. But like I've had a deal where I put up $100 earnest money, and I was willing to risk that $100 to find a buyer on that deal. So sometimes it may be worth it, but I always put in 30 as a default. But sometimes I put in 15. Like I asked the seller, like, you okay with a 30-day inspection period to give ourselves time to make sure that I'm able to get in there? Or it's like, hey, you okay with 15? I'll just ask them, whatever, or I'll just put it on there. I'll just put 30 on there, and then just say, hey, look, if there's anything that's messed up on it, just let me know, and we can work it out. Just try to be real flexible and understanding, and be nice to them, or whatever. So ultimately, you just there to kind of try to help them and guide them through it. And if you can help them, then help them. If you can't, then I just tell them, hey, look, this is not going to work out. I can't help you, then that's fine. Like some sellers want 0 days inspections. Like, dude, I can't do 0 days inspection. Not unless it's like I already got a buyer that's going to buy sight unseen, and I would go ahead and get that buyer to sign a contract. But unless it was just a crazy hot deal, So I'm not going to do 0 days inspection. I'm at least going to do 1 day. I'm at least going to say, hey, we got to see that property one time. Another thing down here at the bottom is seller and buyer. So we filled this whole thing out. It's a done deal. But down here where it says seller and buyer, don't try not to sign until the seller sign, because your inspection period starts when the last party has signed this agreement. So let's say if the seller signed one day, you can wait and sign it, and that will delay that inspection period a little bit. All right. So that's a little trick, that you could use to try to extend your little inspection period there. So if you're using DocHub, what you want to do is you want to click this button right here to do the signature thing. Bam. Signature. You put the sellers right there. Bam. I don't know. This is just a template, so it's kind of blocking me from everything. Put the buyers right here. Bam. All right. I think it's blocking me. But anyway, so bam, you add people. That's the email address I got. I don't really use that email address anymore. So you trying to hit me up, that email address probably ain't gonna be no good. But anyway, so bam, you got that's how you add people, and then you would basically assign these areas to these people, which because it's a template, it's not letting me. But anyways, you would assign these areas to these people, and that's how you would go through and just use DocHub to get people to sign. But if not, all you gotta do is just print it out and get somebody to sign it, and you're good to go, man. Send this over to your closing attorney, and you got them locked in. So what you would do is basically go and do the same thing for the buyer. So let's say if I had a buyer on the hook, what I do is I go back and I change the date to the date that I'm setting up with the buyer list, and I would just change seller name to my name. Bam. Say the buyer was Tommy Lee. He's buying this property as is, and let's say I'm making 10,000 on it, right? So let's say I'm gonna sell it. I bought it for 100,000. I'm gonna sell it for 110. So I put down 10 I put down 100 earnest money. I'm gonna make the buyer put down 1,000 earnest money, and then bam, I'm putting 1,000 earnest money. How much is gonna be left to him at closing if it's 110? 109, right? Bam, bam, bam. Oh, purchase price. Remember, this only so you and the buyer agree that he gonna pay 110. Purchase price is this the only place you put the purchase price, and then bam, how much goes to seller? Purchase price minus the earnest money, which is 109. Bam, paid in full. Bam, bam, bam. And with this, what I do is the closing date. I'll set his closing date to be earlier. So we making this agreement on February 26th, and I've told the buyer, hey, look, we're gonna try to close early April, right? I may make his closing date April the 6th. That way, if he don't close, then one, I'm gonna get his earnest money, but two, I'm going to one, I'm gonna get his earnest money, and two, I'm gonna have more time to find a buyer before the contract ends, right, on the 26th. So, bam, scroll down. I give him, whatever inspection period. Usually he's already seen it, so I'll probably give him like 0 day because you already been in there to see it, right? So, bam, come down here, click your button, put your signatures in, bam. It won't pop up like that, but anyways, y'all get the point. Bam. Put his email address over here, and then it'll be like a little thing that pop up right there that'll let you assign it to each one of them. And then you can click this button right here, bam, prepare to send requests. And then scroll down to the bottom, send requests, bam. Just send requests, and then boop, you good to go, man. The request is sent over to them. It's sent to you also because you assign yourself as the seller and you assign the buyer as the buyer. And then you go in and you sign. Once you have those two contracts signed, the seller's contract and the buyer's contract, which I just showed y'all to fill out both, send both of them to the attorney's office. And then inside of that email to the attorney, I always put the seller's phone number and email address. When I always put the buyer's phone number and email address, and I send it over to them like, hey, look, I got a property. I'm interested in closing with you all. Here's the seller and buyer's contract. I'll also put their contact information below. Let me know if you have any questions. All right. So I just went through and showed you how I fill out my seller's contract, buyer's contract. And this is if I'm doing a double closing. And this is how I started out. It was real easy, real simple. Now they're going to charge you like maybe $200, $600 to do this double closing. And you have to make sure that the closing attorney do double closings. And if it's a closing attorney that doesn't do double closing, you probably need to find a different closing attorney. Just because the good ones, they can do the double closing. So that's just how I did it because, it was real simple for one. And the buyer don't know how much you're making off the deal. And the seller sees from their viewpoint, you're buying the deal from them. So this is just a simple way. And then later on, I figured out how to do the assignments, right? That's just the way I figured it out. Not saying that that's right or wrong or whatever, but to each his own. But I'm also going to make a video to show y'all how I do assignments as well. So I just wanted to show y'all this Fundamental Friday, show y'all kind of how I go through and do my contracts for sellers and buyers, man. So, hey, leave comments below if you have questions. I know, I talk, but I know I'm just like y'all. I have a lot of questions. So just let me know if you have questions below. Hopefully I just keep making videos to bring y'all more content. But yeah, so that's it for this video. Peace out. I'll try to hit y'all up with at least 1 or 2 videos a week from now moving forward. So peace out. Have a good day. Thank you for your love and support.